Mm. Hello, hello. I'm Maggie Wilcox with the Lights, and welcome to our Reiki healing program. This is our first week, and today we're really going to cover all the chakras. And a lot of you I know already have familiarity with chakras in general, so we're going to sort of go over it my way, okay? But also in how it relates to Reiki, right? Yeah. So let's first bring in a beautiful prayer of intention, and this will also help to protect us in each of our containers, however that looks like for you. I'll get a lot into protection and why we need it and how to work with angels. That's going to be part of our classes too. Okay. So any sort of, reverent mudra that works for you. It could even be index fingers pointed. It could be, receptive lotus flower. You could be hands in your lap, one on top of the other, or fingers in Om, or a prayer pose. All right. Prayer pose, I find, is a way to close off your energy, though. And so I would rather you feel more receptive in your mudras. Mudras is the yoga for the hands, the movement for the hands. Good. And because a lot of this class is about feeling and sensations, as I call on these beings of light, I want you to notice how you feel and perceive energy that comes in. Okay. So closing your eyes so you can eliminate seeing and go to your other senses. Beautiful. And we're calling on Archangel Michael to the south to bless and protect us now. Feel his giant energy. And we call on Archangel Gabriel to protect us to the west. We call on Archangel Uriel to protect us to the north. We call on Archangel Raphael to protect us to the east. And now we call on Archangel Metatron, who's coming in from the top with his higher dimensional frequencies, anchoring in this big giant star template. It's coming down over our being, as big as our homes, as big as our neighborhoods. Just anchor it down, down, down. Good. And now Saint Germain is going to shoot violet flame right through your being and down into the planet. You'll see, feel, and know that it's exiting out the feet, purifying all the land under you, the energy around you, to the right, left, and behind, in front of you. Good. Purifying all the ley lines of the earth so that the highest frequencies can occur in our beautiful containers today. Good. And a big wind just kicked in out here and it's howling. All right, good. So while you're here in this meditative state, I want you to now do what we call ground, and it's really a rooting. So you're going now from your tailbone as if it was an actual tail, creating grounding cords out your sit bones, out your root chakra, out your legs. They're like almost flashlight beams, and they go a little down into the earth. And as they do, they're also intersecting into one long stream. This is your energy. It's just like silly putty. It does what you tell it to do. Good, directing that energy all the way down past the crust of the earth, past the mantle, going all the way into the core, into Gaia's crystalline core, where there's giant worlds here. And you're just going to wrap your energy around this big giant crystal in the center of the planet. See it in any way that works for you. Okay. Ooh, now we're really grounding. So now I want you to inhale and see, feel, and know you're bringing that Gaia energy up your cords. Breathe it up even. Good. Let it enter the feet. It's going up the legs. the spine. Inhale it up the spine as if you're drinking it out of a straw. Breathing up that Gaia energy. Good. Exhale. Just let it spread out as if your little bean had all these flowers and it was coming out of the flowers, your little fountains, your little wells. Beautiful. Now you're very connected to Gaia. And I just got so beat red. Let it come into your heart. Bring your hands to heart. And we'll connect more to other energies soon. But for now, that's our grounding, right? And then you notice your breath. Bring your breath from belly up to heart. Good. And then that's your centering when you're aware of your breath and you're allowing it to come in. Beautiful. Good. All right, slowly grounding your energy. Tap your thighs. Just a moment. I'm turning on the air. Ooh, that got me hot. I didn't turn the air on. Okay. All right, from here in this breath work, I'm going to teach you a gland breath, which is for all the chakras, okay? And it's really concentrating your energy up into third eye. And you're going to inhale for 8 sniffs. Just taking in enough air till you get to the top of your 8. Exhale 1 long breath. And it's like this. And then 1 exhale. And repeat. And exhale. In and out of the nose. Keep going. All when you're ready. Three more rounds. Really take in all the air you can, the top of that 8. One more round. Good job. Let it go. Beautiful. So, that's a little yoga breath for the glands. And then there's a few more that we can get deeper into as we go. When we incorporate other things with our Reiki, we're also being the best vessel for the energy. All right. Good. So practice that one. Write it down if you need to. It's inhale 8, exhale 1. Long breath. You'll feel a little maybe woozy or off for a moment as you're literally shifting all your glands in your endocrine system. And there's a gland for each chakra, right? So we're working on the chakras by working on those glands that also govern those chakra areas. What's interesting are chakras, in science, are located where there's a lot of nerves. There's like networks of deep nerves there. So not only are we energetically doing things in a chakra, but there's all these other pathways that are mirroring it, neural pathways, circulatory pathways, okay? So the other thing about chakras is they're like a funnel, and the tip goes in towards spine and then it goes out as far as your energy field goes, which is usually as far as you can reach. Okay. But when you're out in nature, it's bigger, it gets more expansive. We live in tiny boxes, so our energy can be a little contained. And then there's also times where we contain our energy on purpose to feel smaller or to have not other people drain us. And so you're going to practice playing with your energy field, right? Growing it as needed, even. Okay, good. Because every breath we take is almost very similar to the chakras and the way they operate. So when we use the prana of the breath, which is another form of energy, we're also igniting and awakening our bodies. All right. Prana, ki, chi, mana, they're all the same thing, and they all, and from different cultures, but they all represent, yeah, this beautiful energy that's all around us that we have access to anytime. And then when we call on Reiki energy, it's being guided generally by your guides, your spirit guides that you're going to receive throughout this process, even more of them. All right. We usually have guides when we're born as well, including power animals. But yeah, you'll receive a lot of helpers. And then when you're working on someone else, you're going to receive their helpers too, to assist. And then you just pretty much get out of the energy's way. There's a few ways we direct it, hone it, make our vessel stronger. But for the most part, you allow the energy to do its thing when we come into Reiki. Okay? And so we have then that Reiki energy, we have the earth mana energy and the fairy realm, even the dragons, that 4D are also connected to that Gaia earthy energy. So when we called on Gaia, for instance, I felt energy coming up my feet, literally like a tingling and a tickling. And a lot of times that's that fairy energy. Okay, that's beautiful. And so we ground first before we do any energetic activity, including meditation. All right. So whatever it is you're about to do, just figure that you might fly off the planet, figuratively and literally. So you ground, you anchor your being. Okay. Coming into your breath in is like, oh, I'm here in the present moment. So that your mind isn't focused on the past, your mind isn't worried about the future and what you're supposed to be doing or what you're going to do as soon as you get off this call, right? So we focus on breathing a lot. And that's why having a breath work practice, even if it's not just a yoga asana practice, so yoga has many limbs, so breath work philosophy, there's a lot of different parts of it, okay? But even just the breath work is also going to benefit your energy field to expand and get bigger and feel amazing. And it also clears the pathways so that the denser energy can bust and the brighter light can pour through. So our chakras then are like these whirlpools of light. In Sanskrit, it's eyes of light. Okay. In South American shamanism, ojos de luz, eyes of light. And then coming off those whirlpools, those big eyes, are some minor chakras, but a lot of those rivers, right? And so when we, in Reiki and in healing, when we're working on an area of the body that we know is related to that chakra, and then we know a lot about that chakra, including what's housed there, not just the color, though that's awesome, knowing the colors of your rainbow. But I mean, going deeper, right? All the different associations that can go on with it, but especially when it comes to healing. So we'll be getting into that. So yeah, having a little awareness of your energy now on a deeper level. So when you feel something Uh, maybe I felt something shoot up the back of my head the other day. And I was like, well, what's that related to? Well, because it was only on one side, sort of a dull headache in the back of my head on one side, I knew from what I know about energy meridians is that that's the liver, that's anger. But more than anything, it was because I had eaten something wrong. So oftentimes you'll eat something and the solar plexus will respond and it'll shoot up front and down the body, including foot pain. So you start really noticing when you're feeling any difficulties, dis-ease, discomfort. Yeah, start paying attention to where it's located. And to go deeper, our first three chakras, our root is physical, then you got the emotional belly, and then the solar plexus is mental. Okay, these are the stuff we deal with on a daily on earth, right? Where these other chakras are more spiritual from the heart up. The heart is actually the axis of it all. Okay. But what happens is there's usually a mirror image from the bottom and the top. And it's even said, if you want to go deeper, that the lower chakras represent masculine energy. And so when we're merging our own divine feminine masculine, we're balancing, being able to support ourselves, right? And in control of our emotional nature and our power to do whatever we want, even as women, if you're female or identify as female. So you still have that masculine in you. And then those upper chakras tend to be that more feminine, intuitive energy. And so, as we grow and develop, so these upper chakras are easier for women to access. We got multidimensional minds a lot of the times and able to talk a mile a minute, okay? Where it might be harder to work in the lower chakras. And so you find that balance, okay? But if you do find an issue in an area, you might think about what is the polarity or mirrored chakra to it. And as we dive deeper into what that can be, just write down anything that feels familiar to you. And I guarantee by the end of this course, we'll have touched on it so much that you'll really know what you need. Okay. And the energy, of course, will flow there and heal. And that's the whole point. And so even our food has energy. We know that. We measure it by calories. And so talking about eating, correct, it's going to give you your best energy for your body, your being. And you have to figure out what that is, because we are all unique and different. So we can even apply Reiki energy to help us figure out solutions in what we need in our diets, doctors, the whole thing. Okay. So Reiki isn't a instead of thing. It heightens and brightens everything else. It amplifies everything else. On its own, it's 222 here. On its own, it's an amazing tool. Okay. But it's also a tool that's going to take you into divine guidance so that your higher self does know what your next steps in life are. And all of that, right? And that's when we really start listening to our intuition. We pay attention to how our intuition operates within our being. So we might feel a pinch or a tug, or, the chicken skin, that's our clairsentience, things like that. When our intuition's going off, right? We're getting a signal, we're getting a vibe, literally. We're all connected on this like giant spider web, okay? Which is the web of the earth, the planet. And so, how these giant spiders in these scary movies, like you could feel them coming because, you just tap on the web and it goes all the way to that ripple effect. Well, it's like that, so you'll feel people's energy because of that web. Now, some of us are more guarded and shielded and have spent lifetimes doing that and feel not much, let's say. But by, the end of this class, you'll be more intuitive and open. And of course, you're allowing that and you're trusting and you're having faith in your guides and the process and all of that. You're also setting healthy boundaries in your life so you don't feel like you have to be guarded and shielded when you're in places like your home. Even work would be nice, but we do what we can. So, I give you the techniques to also protect and guard and shield when you need to. So some of you that are more guarded and the opposite spectrum, some of you are so empathetic and open that you have weak boundaries and you don't always realize it, but you're absorbing other people's energy. And when you apply Reiki or even in meditation now, if you are feeling something and you're not sure if it's yours, just say, not mine, not mine. If this isn't mine, let it go. It could be that simple. I mean, that's how energy can work so fast too, when we decide to let it go. And so because of this, when people come to us for sessions, that's ideal because they're ready to heal. Just like you guys came to this class because you were ready to receive bigger transformations in your life. And so if you were to pay for someone else to do it or force someone else to do it, they wouldn't have as big transformations. So we have to show up for ourselves, right? Yeah. A lot of us are empathetic healers and we show up for everybody else and we forget about showing up for ourselves. And even some of you might even be taking this class because you can't wait to help others. And I get it. I get it. But you really have to pour into yourself first. All right. Just make that a rule. Okay. I'm going to do some sort of session or clearing on myself before I approach this space. Right. So I do that before my workshops. Definitely before any energetic attunements, I'm eating right, I'm feeling clear, I'm doing my yoga, I'm meditating. But it's funny because you will get roadblocks thrown your way. And you'll say, oh no, I'm still doing this, spirit. There's always a little something out there, I think, that tries to get us to not show up in our purpose. And that's why we do our protection and everything. And yeah. So as soon as we believe in the light and have faith that even if it's just within our own hearts, all right, even if that's what your source energy is for you, because all different beliefs take this course. I've even had nuns take the course, okay? So it's just having some sort of belief and faith of an energy that's out there that when you say, okay, I'm ready, it will pour in and you will be that facilitator for it. Okay. Good. So in this energy field, then we have these different layers. So we have the closest layer to us, which you can start to see around people. It's like a black, I was trying to see if I can see mine. It's like a blackish, bluish hue. It almost looks like a shadow of you, right? It's like your blueprint. And that is representing what's going on generally in your physical body. It's going to mirror that. And so if that blueprint is like a little off, you might be literally beside yourself with grief or something. Like a lot of those intuitive nudges and thoughts are literal. Okay. So you might feel someone's energy like a porcupine, and like, they don't want you to come near them and things of that. That's all how it is perceived in the energetic world too. It's very fascinating. And then, but you can see because when there's a dark or more denser energy around your being, or if you're looking at someone, and you'll practice this, I'll teach you in a little while. That means there's probably disease present. And so what happens is disease shows up in the energy field before it manifests into your physical body. So you have all these layers. So you might be going through some karmic stuff, mental, emotional. Eventually it will come through physically if you're not managing that energy. This is why repetitive thoughts create an energy imprint, almost as if it were a scratch in the record of your energy field. Okay. Yeah, it's really amazing. And so as a healer, as well as some psychics that don't put their hands on people, but when you put your hands on someone, you pick up so much intuitive information. And so you might feel then the emotions carried. This might be emotions again that haven't manifested physically yet, but if it were a physical illness and a deeper thing, almost always there's an emotion with it. And so if you believe in Louise Hayes's books, You Can Heal Your Life, she talks about how every emotion has, how everything physical has an emotion behind it. So knees, for instance, are like a fear of moving forward in life, related to root and how, you feel supported, especially in your hips and low back, things of that nature. And so, yeah, as we get deeper to deeper with what you're sitting with, you're going to come to some realizations. And so even those mental thoughts are carried as images in the auric field. Usually it's things that are of trauma. When good things happen to you, your aura gets heightened and brightened. You become back to your pure rainbow nature. And so when we're babies and as we are born into this life we've agreed to be in, our energy that's up here in the soul star chakra above our being opens up, and then our being is formed. And so all the chakras I'm speaking of right now are the ones that are housed within your being. Okay. And then you have them below the feet, the earth star. It helps you bring up that Gaia energy, and we'll work with that a lot in our meditations. And then above the head, you have the soul star. And then you have a lot more as you get higher up. Okay. So what we do is we repair our OG beings, our OG blueprints. So the original inhabitants of the earth were more pure and rainbow in vibration. And it's over time, over suppression, over blocking our spiritual gifts, that we have become a little dull and even using less of our power and abilities than we used to. So what this program really does is it opens you up into what your being already knows. But here's the fun part. All of you have different gifts. So you'll bring through maybe even gifts from other lifetimes that were a specialty for you, even. And then that'll be applied with Reiki in some way. But even as a healer, maybe you're more someone that helps with a certain ray, or you help with the heart and relationships. So, again, we all have different gifts, including how you pick up your information. So we'll do little quizzes around that today. Good. So then as we get into those higher layers of our aura, the ones that are a little further out, then those are those past life traumas that we need to heal from. And what we do is we heal in layers, a lot like an onion or a jawbreaker. And even our chakras have layers to them. And so when you get to the deepest layer of your chakra, those are your spiritual centers. And as you're getting to the outermost layer of those chakras, those are more of your physical, emotional, mental. So each of your chakras also has is related to all the other chakras, and they really work as a team. Okay. So like around your throat and your speech and speaking your truth, that there might be an emotional issue there. You know what I mean? There might be a childhood wound there around that. And so your throat issues might have a mirror image polarity wound around root times. And when you start to think about the ages that you develop in each of your chakras, that also can help you figure out what might have been going on in your world at that time. So ages 0 through 7 are those really formative root years, including in utero. And then ages 8 through 14, that's when the hormones kick in, our feelings of lust and self-worth and emotions for this, that, and the other, right? And then you come into those years, ages 15 through 21 in the solar plexus, where you're getting jobs, you're working a little harder, putting your mark in the world. And then when you come up into your heart years, the ages 22 through 28, those are, ideally when you start thinking about forming bonds in union with others. Okay. But then when you get to, so you go up every 7 years up to 49 in the crown, but when you get to age 50, you go back to the root. And so if there's anything that you weren't getting on a root level in your childhood, you might then have that midlife crisis around that issue. Or just want to be a kid again, right? You want to play with toys and things like that. So we learn more and more about ourselves, through time here and through this journey. And so even if there's like trauma in past lives, usually you've made contracts to meet those soulmates then that will help trigger or open up the memory of that past life memory. We also do this in healing, and deep meditations and activations. But oftentimes there's someone that you're meant to meet, or that's supposed to help you open up that particular gift or memory. Okay. And when things come to our awareness, we Reiki it and bring the highest light to things that were less than light. And then we let it go and we trust that we don't have to dwell on it anymore, right? Unless it's a bigger wound and spirit's really, talking to you about it. And so when there's physical disease, again, and it's a chronic condition, been happening for a while, right? Or even seasonally, like every fall you get a lung issue, things like that. So related to the heart and grief, and you figure out, okay, well, what happened to me in the fall that might have brought that grief on? You start to pinpoint that. So those issues, because you probably fed that wound a while and it's been sitting a while, might take more Reiki sessions on you, all right? Including letting go, a little awareness of its root. But then again, as soon as you're open, like for me, I take Reiki in like a sponge. I just really absorb it. And so last night I was having a major Reiki journeys for hours. And I needed it and it was lovely. But it's like you feel waves of energy and like that. And so when it's really needed, you're going to feel that. And you're going to keep your hands there and you're going to let it flow, let it roll. And what it feels like is it feels like it's pulling something out. And that might even, you rarely feel discomfort in Reiki unless there's like an extreme pain, which, maybe someone just injured themselves or toothache, things like that. And then that pain might fester almost as if it's just coming up and out. And then it fills it up with, and you usually even take a breath with it and take it in. Okay. So you'll notice that subtlety within you as well. And then you'll really begin to know when that Reiki turns on. For me, it's like, if you take a tuning fork, bzzz, and then you put it on a table, and that whole tuning fork then vibrates the whole table. It's like that. That's what Reiki feels like. And so when you call on it and it finally does pour in, it might take like 3 minutes or so, as you're letting go of all your head garbage and allowing and surrendering. And then when it does, it's just like, bzzz. You're like, okay. And then, yeah, and then you get to that blissful state, which is what our beings are meant to be feeling. Okay. Good. So, what else? So we also have minor chakras, including each of the vertebrae. The eyes are big healers too. A lot of times energy comes out the eyes. That's also how you're starting to see and perceive things. But chakras are also in the palms, big chakras in the palms. That's why we heal with our hands, including all the little joints are chakra full. Okay. So as healers, we work on even opening the hands, practice even picking things up with palms. And when you are falling asleep at night in meditation, if you're one that tends to bunch up your hands, you're going to find that you're going to be more open and just flat hands everywhere. And so not just a finger. I mean, there are mudras you can do, or you're pointing and directing energy, but ideally you're using that full, beautiful palm. Traditional Reiki people tell you to have your hands like mittens. Mittens for kittens instead of like a big glove. I do whatever I want. I do however it feels guided. That energy is going to flow. Trust me. But you'll find if you're a little cupped, you will feel the sensations and perceive a little bit more the energy between the palm and a person or yourself. It feels a little different on yourself versus others, and we'll get into that a lot next class. So yeah, your chakras. And so we know they're related to all these different colors of the rainbow, right? But also you have all these colors in between, okay? So don't get stuck on it has to be a certain color. Like if you're seeing turquoise, it's probably an energy between the green heart and blue throat. And it might be that calming, peaceful energy you need, okay? Now, you're not all going to see colors right away. You might be feeling the energy first, and that's usually your first perception. But yeah, be open to whatever flows for you. Okay, so the other thing we do in Reiki and in meditation in general, and when we're picking up perceptions and vibrations, is we have to pay attention to our intention. And we get a lot into this when we do space clearings on homes and whatnot. But as far as your being and how you feel in your being and how you feel after you eat something, how you feel after you walk in a space, right? What you'll do then is if your brain is everywhere scattered, thinking about a million different things, and you're walking into a public place, you're getting off these scattered impressions to others, but you're also opening up your field, where when you feel other people's stuff, you might not even realize it because you're so caught up in your head. You know what I mean? And so when you enter any place, just see yourself as like that queen or king, or, like someone that has big energy, someone that is perceptive. And when you walk in that space, you're doing it almost reverently, but sensing the room, sensing the energy. Yeah. And so we do this all the time, whether we know it or not. like a junior high school dance with the boys on one side, the girls on the other, and they're testing energies. You know, any place you have the polarity of the sexes, however that looks for you, you're getting a pinging and a ponging of energies, testing. And so a lot of those situations, it's going to be sexual energy thrown at you if you're in bars and things of that nature. And so we notice when there's like a cord attachment or a feeling that feels uneasy, don't we? You can sense that. And so you're perceiving things, but you're also have been guarded and protected so that you almost filter in just what you want to feel and perceive, and you let the goop out, a lot like how coffee grounds stay on the other side of the filter, but then you have the beautiful black juice. So you learn to play with your energy field, your shields, your filters. Yay, I see more of us are here. Good. All right. And then the other thing is you'll see is flashes of light, feelings, right? You're going to get different energies, even pictures in your mind's eye when you are perceiving that psychic information. All right, so I want to pull out the chakra manual a minute. So as you read the manual, you know, energy medicine, it's been a thing for quite some time. Native Americans, even though it's not very recorded with them. But when we get into, you know, Buddhism, which is one of the oldest, and Chinese medicine, those are some of the oldest recorded histories that we have, besides like cave paintings and, you know, maybe shrines and things on walls and pyramids. Okay, and those are things we're still deciphering, right? Though a lot of people have wonderfully. But yeah, no matter where people were in the world, they had an understanding of energy and what we were and how we are connected to everything. And so as you learn about the different layers of your aura, we're going to also practice feeling those layers of your aura in a minute, including your chakras. And so when we think about the root chakra then in healing, it's very important that it be operating and open and receptive. Also, it releases down and out. Okay. And so the root then, that's at the, they say the genitals, but it's basically the perineum. There's a root lock there where we pull up. And then for females, then that'll go deeper into the vaginal canal. Okay. But you also, you know, might the tailbone, you know, so you have a lot of different energies around the root, including at the soles of the feet, the chakras there. And so when we work with root energy, you're also going to feel it from the feet to the legs. And technically your entire foundational system, so muscles and skeletal system, are root chakra related. Whereas the skin, let's say, would be more seventh chakra related, because it's, I mean, it could be sensuality and belly chakra, but it's also that outer layer of your aura, okay? Including your hair, right? Your hair is such an extension of you as well. And so when ideally our chakras are spinning, so if I were to put a pendulum here, it's going to go like this. I'll grab it on the break. And, you know, you might even perceive it and spin it this way with the hands, okay? But that pendulum is just going to feel this spin. It's going to feel this vortex of energy in this area. And then if the chakra were more closed, then it's going to spin slower, smaller. Whereas if it were open, it's going to do more of that. Okay. The upper chakras also spin faster than the lower chakras. The lower chakras are very much about grounding, connecting to Gaia, because trees have like really slow energy, for instance. And so when we're running past things, we look like a little blip. And so we need to literally ground in. And why we have bodies is so we can ground in our purpose. Grounding in whatever it was we were meant to do in this lifetime and bring it into our bodies. So we can't just be in these upper chakras meditating and feeling the Reiki all the time. We also need to then do some action, right? And that action can even be helping others, right? But you get grounded in your purpose. Yeah. And so everything then will have this spin, and it's usually clockwise when it's spinning optimally. If it goes counterclockwise at any point, it's usually backwashing, clearing, healing. And if I'm using a pendulum, or if I just have my Reiki hands there, to heal it, and then I check the pendulum again, you'll find that it'll start to go clockwise at some point. Unless there was a big disease, and then, you can use your Reiki intuition if you're working on someone else, okay? But try not to ever diagnose anything major. And we'll get more into that, just because, scare people, and there's some legalities around it, okay? You might say something like, I'm feeling in my intuition that you might be having a heart issue, or maybe you should go to the doctor and get checked for something. It can be like that. Yeah, so those chakras and how they spin. And the belly chakra then is digesting all those emotional energies for us. And so each chakra then is also related to an element. And so the root is about earth, the belly's about water, and that's literally what it does, is it ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows. So we're not meant to hold on to things here. But what happens is take things up into the upper chakras, maybe take it to heart, or maybe yell and get mad, or we can't speak our truth and we hold our voice. So yeah, our sacral bowl is actually quite powerful. And when you are open and present in your energy here, you also can howl it out, right? Almost like you would in childbirth, because the cervix for women are related to the throat here. So just see that correlation, that even if you don't have a cervix or womb, but there's this beautiful energy here of, speaking up for yourself, of expressing who you are, your wildness, your everything. And so the root chakra then, its Sanskrit name is Muladhara. And then you'll hear people in yoga say Mula Bandha. Bandha means the bond, the pulling up of the cable, the locking that you do in the body. So that's signifying pulling up the root chakra, Muladhara Bandha. Okay. I'm just telling you, so if you ever hear that Bandha part after it, so you know what it means. And then you get into the belly, and it's Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana mudra. You're just one chakra at a time. The mudra then for the root would be, the hands could just be on the knees. If you were seated on the floor, you would touch with the right hand, the 2 fingers down, and I'm going to post this worksheet in the group. Also, hands flat to earth. In particular, yoga, down dog, folds, okay? The belly, then, Svadhisthana, the dwelling place of self, is these internal fingers here. And then you point the index and the pinkies, and you just bring it right here to that space in the belly. And it's very much a receptive mudra as you're allowing things to ebb and flow. What happens is we tend to also take on everyone else's emotions here. If you do have a particularly hard menstrual cycle, and I say this, everything I say, even if it doesn't pertain to you, just keep it in mind because it might pertain to your students and people down the line. Okay. So don't just like, that's not me. But, even your menstrual cycle, if your cycles are rough, or even your transition into menopause is rough, that's usually because there's some emotions that you were holding on to that month, or some unfinished business. But generally, it's of an emotional nature, and it's affecting you in this chakra. Right. So it's also considered, this is like the low heart. We bring up this beautiful sacral fire, up to our high heart so we can express ourselves. It's a really beautiful meditation to embody, an energy to bring in. When we come to the solar plexus, however, Manipura then is the palace of jewels. So we think of that golden sun energy, that brightest energy we can think of. And then its mudra is the index fingers pointed. And then you just place them here. So these are like little divining rods when we do the index fingers pointed. And so you can literally do it at any point that it happens to be one of the mudras for here. Now there's more mudras for all of these. These are some of my favorites, all right? And they're on the worksheet I'm giving you, so I want to make sure I'm telling you correctly. Good, and when we come into heart, there's a few for the heart I really love. This one is like this lotus blossom, right? You're really reaching the fingers, but it's right at the heart here, as if you're just lifting the heart and bringing in all of the beauty and abundance of source love. But you can also interlace fingers and come out like so. That one opens all the way to the physical heart. Excellent. And then we come into, so the heart then is Anahata. Anahata. Beautiful names. Because chakra is Sanskrit. I'm teaching you the Sanskrit variations, and it's really what most of us have learned is the Hindu Sanskrit variation of the energy medicine. So Anahata then is unbound. It means that our love is unlimited. And that's a hard concept for people to grasp. We're used to objectified love for this, that, and the other, him or her. But when we literally come to the space of love, it's a vibe, it's a literal vibration, a ray that comes in. And because when we become Reiki attuned, we're heart-centered beings, we really ignite this heart chakra in our processes. What happens is even the energy comes through the crown and it fills up the heart and it comes out the hands, the eyes, the chakras. But you do get really hot, like I've been saying since class started. See if I'm red here, but you get really hot in this region of your heart because it's like it ignites like a flame. And so you have the low heart, which you'll feel a little indentation there, and it's usually along the nipple line. And then you have the high heart, which is where the thymus is, and we can thump here for health and wellness. And then you have an etheric heart that's invisible, so to speak, just outside of it, and they form this beautiful triad. So when you hear that term, high heart, They're usually referring to right here at the thymus. And we know then that the thymus gland is very much a part of the heart chakra, our immune system, right? And so when there's anything going on in the solar plexus, there's so many organs here, right? And you might even be feeling and scanning this area, and you'll notice, ooh, what part gets hot, what part gets heated up, where does my hand thump when I'm on that region? And you'll say, oh, well, I know this is on this side, and vice versa. Stomach is here, small intestine right at the navel. So we start to learn a little anatomy too. And it helps you to be a better practitioner, but especially on yourself. That being said, when you're working on others, they all have different lengths and ratios in their body and torso, right? So some people have a long torso, some people are shorter. And so you practice feeling people's chakras by scanning. And then you know exactly where to go. Okay. And so, yeah, Anahata, unbound. We are unbound. We are unlimited on the amount of love we can give. And also bear in mind that chakras 2 through 6, so belly, solar plexus, heart, throat, and third eye, have a front and a back. The root then descends down and the crown ascends up. But you might be operating more out of the front than the back. It's a little give and take again. Maybe you feel more guarded, on the back. Usually the front represents the emotional nature of that chakra, and the back is the willpower. So for instance, in the heart, if there's like a shoulder issue in the back, that's usually some anger about a love relationship of some kind, any kind of relationship, right? But one you definitely took to heart. Okay. Yeah, so we paid a little attention to that. And so even when I'm Reikiing myself, I see, feel, and know that it's going everywhere it's needed, front and back. Because we can't always reach some of these areas. Good. All right. And so the chakras then have different tones. And so they'll have a lower, slower vibration, the lower ones. They'll get up into higher tones. And so if you go on YouTube and whatnot, and you see the sounds of the chakras and the different hertz, right? That is because we're literally going in a little higher vibration as we come up the body, all right? But not only that, we have more petals to our chakras. They're also likened to spokes of a wheel. If you've ever seen one of those fancy wheels where there's many layers to it even, almost like gears, that's how deep your chakras can get. And so maybe you have out of the petals a little leak or energy drain just in a portion of the chakra. And that, again, that's something you might even see with the pendulum. But, even if you feel like you have found a disturbance in your field, know that you can literally shift it like that, depending on how long it's been there, if it's a big repetitive thought, right? But if I'm spinning the pendulum, and let's say my heart was this tiny spin, I might use that breath to open up my energy. Sure enough, that'll get bigger. Or maybe I'll say a thought like, I am love, clear, cleanse. Tell your body what you want it to do. It will work for you. Okay. All right. So that's on a shamanic perspective. Okay. So even without Reiki, you can do things on certain perspectives. Okay. So we come into our fifth And also, just a little bit about breasts. Everybody has nipples. There's also chakras there. There's many chakras also along these detox organs I was talking about. And even armpits. And because we have a lot of lymph, and women need that lymph to be free flowing. Anyone that doesn't want breast cancer. There's I have a whole class on that. If anybody wants that link, that's already recorded. But under the breast, there's all these spots, right? And even with sage, like getting into like the knees and little areas where energy can get stagnant. But because the breasts, the lungs, there's so much beauty and abundance here in the heart chakra. We really want it to be working optimally, right? And that's so we just become love. And that Reiki is going to help you become that love vibration more and more. Good. And so we have our throat, the Shuddha, which is purity. What I really love about this chakra, I call it like the smoothie chakra. It takes all the energy from all these lower chakras and it transmutes it into this beautiful super highway of energy and knowing. It is here that we begin to know our connection because of the communication center to our guides, to our higher self, to our abilities. Now it's like a super highway. It has an anabolic and catabolic on the sides. All right. And of course the thyroid's here, and that's what runs our metabolism, right? Fires us up or it gets slow and sluggish. I'm really feeling my third eye right now. I'm gonna tap on it and say cleanse, clear. I always think of Peter Pan, tapping on chakras and thinking happy thoughts. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts. That's right. Bring in the happy thoughts. More often than not, if you are having, that discomfort and things, notice what your thought just was. It's probably around a fear or belief that is causing you stagnancy. It's causing you literally to tight up and not have faith and sinking into Gaia, having that faith that your root, is connected to all the abundance that you ever need, that you're so supported. Those are different things that we have issues with, right? And what we do is we get back pain or thoughts about someone or something. Pay attention to those thoughts. Again, the more repetitive they are, a little harder they need to clear, but we can reprogram the subconscious mind. We can clear that energy. We can even clear our DNA. Our DNA, our genetics. Just opening my lungs a little bit. The lung spots right here. I'm just gonna rub a little lavender essential oil there. We can change our heredity. And so if there's ancestral wounds even, or let's say, everybody has diabetes or this or that, you can break those chains. And I'm going to help you do that as best I can in our course by guiding you on those journeys, okay? Yeah. You can even break cords from others, which we're going to do today. Ooh, that feels so peaceful. I love it. Also vows, contracts from other lifetimes. When we get into those higher layers of ourselves and up into the Reiki 3, that's when we're really releasing What was your vow you took in a past life of poverty or chastity or even a marriage you didn't want to be in, right? And how has that affected you in this lifetime? I'm getting a big ringing in the ears, and that's, of course, an indication of a crazy confirmation, I call it. Spirit acknowledging that, yes, you're correct. Yes, we're working on that now, things like that. So also the back of neck is the throat, right? And what we tend to do with our neck is maybe we're a little up like this. What you'll notice is this pinching here in the neck. So you want the neck to drop, the chin drops, so the neck feels lengthened, all right? And then from there, just sort of go back a little bit with the neck so that you could just look down and see your heart chakra. And that's the alignment of the back of neck in particular. But we tend to bunch it up here, or we do the other thing with the head, which is, right? That heavy bowling ball of the head. And as we age, we get the dowager's hump, and we have to really focus on lifting that heart, maybe bringing the hands behind us a lot. Yeah, but notice how you carry that head. If you're someone that has headaches a lot, neck pain a lot, I guarantee you must be holding something a little wrong. Pay attention to that. The hips, right? Getting in and out of cars, noticing how we lean to one side, doing things like video of yourself, and watching your energy. It's very revealing on where you're holding things. Yeah. At first, when I started doing it, it was really cringy, but you get past it, Yeah. So we have incenses, oils, all the different aspects of each chakra, I mentioned in your chakra ebook. But yeah, when we come into throat, we really start to communicate to the spirit world. And we also talk with our hands. So our hands, especially that right hand, is very much part of the throat. And these are just, these are general, right? Things will switch and move and rotate. There's no wrong way in any of this, okay? Where I find the left hand, because we wear the ring, the wedding rings on the ring finger, that there is heart meridians, literally, that come up that left side. But we also do mudra for the internal communication. And when you hold a mudra for a period of time, because it is a seal, it's then going to conduct, and I'm feeling this very much right now. This one's called Dakini, where you bring all of it into a point at the thumb, and it aligns all of your chakras, all your energy field back to itself. And little movements like this that are very simple you can do in public, right? Or just to even remind yourself. But you'll find, like, in healing, you'll just start doing things with your hands as well. So it's how you channel energy, as well as, I'm sure you've heard of light language and chanting and toning. And those are all sounds that we'll receive in our Reiki symbols that we will also chant and tone, because sound healing is very, very important. So again, back to throat, and I'm wearing my throat chakra lapis today to help me speak my truth clearly and succinctly, and so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. And so in learning, we're learning in slices, and we're not taking it all in at once, or it could be too overwhelming. But also when I teach, it's common, so that people feel a little sleepy or groggy, as my energy that comes through is very relaxing. But know that your higher self takes in what it needs. And of course, you're always going to watch replays if you want to get, an extra boost. And replays can even be listened to at night as you're falling asleep. because you will psychically pick things up even when you have it at the side of your bed. Open up books that you want to psychically, remember the information, right? Or you open up something and you bring it to your heart and you feel its energy. And so in this class, when I used to teach it in person, we would each put an object in a basket that might be something we carry around a lot. And without letting anybody see it, so it was covered. And then you take your non-dominant left hand. This is if you're right-handed, okay? So your non-dominant hand, and we were to reach and feel the energy for it and pull it out. And without looking at it, literally just feel it psychically. Notice the impressions, the flashes, the colors, the sounds, vibrations, heat, coolness, all of it. Yeah. So we're going to practice that also. Okay, good. So sixth brow chakra, Ajna. Most people love the sound of that one, Ajna. So it also comes out the back of the head, right where the skull bones meet. Okay, where it's a little soft spot there. That's actually called the mouth of God in some healing systems. And when you really like rub here, we have like two chords right there. Cerebellum, medulla. Woo, we are really opening up these parts. Mercy here, don't care. But yeah, so yeah, just give yourself a little love in those regions. Okay. And then in Reiki sessions, you can literally put your fingers under their head if they're lying on the table, right at that point, and you'll find those little indentations right there. And when you press and hold there, it'll align their energy body all the way down to feet. It's a nice little still point technique that I'll introduce you to. So, we have all these little centers. So like, how I rub this one in the lung, right? So from the collarbone, just going a little bit, not quite into the armpit corner, but a little bit out, you'll feel this little indentation. All right, below the collarbone there. That's your lungs. If there's anything tender, right, you need it. Good. You do both sides. But then below the collarbone, right where it starts, you'll feel indentations a little bit more in right here. And that's where we cross tap. This is our kidney meridian. And then we thump the thymus. And then we go under the ribs. About 3 fingers under the ribs, usually right below the nipple line. And that's our 3 thumps. Cross tap, thymus, under the ribs. And what this does is it aligns your energy right away so that you don't feel drained and tired. It puts it back in the X that our energy is, so that this arm connects to this leg, this arm to this leg, and we're not just running parallel. When we're running parallel all the time, more energy is going out than we're bringing in. And so anytime we're doing anything energetic or even being around people, right, if we just heal from our presence, you're going to feel drained when you get home. And that could be why. And so you do the cross, 3 thumps, okay? And you're going to do this one every day. And I talk about it in your Reiki pages coming up. And so I'll even, with the kids in the car before we go somewhere, everybody do your 3 thumps. It's going to help the immune system. And then we do what we call a zip up. And so from the pubic bone to your lip, you just pretend you're a big coin purse and you zip up. And this is again, so when you go out in public, if someone were to look at you from head to toe, like that, they can drain your energy. We're looking you up and down, as they say. That's a thing, okay? Whereas if they did look you up, if you could look up, so maybe you're looking at their shoes, like if you wear really good shoes, and then look up at someone, you're giving them energy, right? So it's kind of crazy. But we zip up, and so that our energy just can't be drained. It protects us. And these are all in Donna Eden's Energy Medicine book, which is an extra book I recommend you get if you want to get really deep into what are all the meridians, what are all the spots and parts. It's very, very detailed. And I'll post a picture of it, okay? Yeah, so, and you can probably Google this as well, but I'll do the diagram for the spots of the 3 thumbs. And so the first one I was showing was just the little lung point, which was out further, and then closer now to collarbone, and where that starts, you just go down right there, and you're going to feel that indentation. And you thump. So it's kidney, thymus, spleen, I believe. And on the diagram I have, it'll say exactly, so I'll post that. And so we did the heart mudra. So with the throat mudra, I want to show you for the 5th chakra, you're going to anchor the gesture of the void. That's a little different than I remembered, but that's okay. So you're anchoring now your first 2 fingers into the base. So each of your fingers can be anchored into the palm in different ways. And it's a really great way, again, to stretch and open the energy of your body all the way down the heart. And I could literally feel this even opening up my emotional centers as I'm doing this. I'm stretching it out a little bit and holding each finger down. And I know because when I teach EFT and releasing and the tapping, and we're tapping on fingers and stuff, each little part is related to different parts of the brain, related to different parts of the, different planets even, right? Your Mercury finger. So like in palm reading, if your pinkies are a little away from your ring fingers, that means you're an independent thinker. So, there's like so many fascinating things with the hands, right? And so then the mudras. And so when you anchor down the first 2 and you just hold that, that's going to activate you all the way up into your throats. Okay. And this would be different than our 3rd eye mudra, which is when you're just touching first finger and thumb. And this is actually 3rd eye. A lot of times people think it's crown, but it's Jnana, which is Jnana, which means knowledge. So we're working with our inner knowledge, right? So, what's beautiful about mudras is they come in and out, and in yoga, we're flowing them up and down and incorporating them. Beautiful. So ajna. A really great way to open up the 3rd eye is also staring at a candle flame every day, allowing the eyes to water, allowing the pineal gland to open, doing healthy things for the brain, right? The good fats, not smoking and things of that nature, the stuff that tends to cut the oxygen off from the brain isn't very healthy, right? I have an apple a day. An apple a day keeps the doctor away because it's so oxygenated. It oxygenates your cells. And so the heart, for instance, you rarely hear of hearts getting cancer. And that's because there's so much oxygen there. All right. And so in therapies, when people are going through treatments, those oxygen tanks and the oxygen therapies are really good for them. Brings life back to their cells. Yeah, and we could do that with foods, right? Yeah, definitely. And then we Reiki our foods on top of that, and we bring it to its highest vibration. Okay. All right. So third eye is your inner knowing. So you're communicating to guides. You're trusting in your inner knowing as well. You know, they're coming through in many ways for you, depending on your clairs. And then as you come into the crown chakra, Sarasrara, a little harder to say. Here's when you do the connection to source. So the third eye, you know, and have that faith. And then the crown is you do the connection. And so that crown and the root being on that polar opposite, right? Crown and root being related, then yeah, that beautiful energy is just gonna, so you could almost do meditations where you're pumping it up and down, right? Gaia up, divine down, and working on, yeah, opening up all those energy centers in beautiful ways. Good. All right, let's take a quick potty break. Okay, and we'll come back and we'll do some more exercises to check out your clairs. All right. I'll just do a pause. Hello, hello. So you've heard of the term your sixth sense. What is your sixth sense? Your extra senses, right? And so there's so many, actually. There's even more than we think about. But we're going to talk about our main clairs, okay? But there's also clairs for like when you smell things, and clairs that you taste things. Like you literally will taste your environment. Or, you know, you start to bridge the senses, even where you're almost like tasting the smell of a flower. Okay. So our senses get really interesting. But when we think of clairvoyance, that's our ability to see beyond the physical. But we might also see things in our physical, like signs, right? So let's say you had a question, because it's really good that you asked spirit questions so that you can receive those signs and answers, because they don't interfere with your free will. But when you ask them, they will show up for you. Okay. And so when you ask, yeah, can you show me a feather if I should do this, or a dime if I should do this? That could be something like that, right? Or, oh gosh, you know, I don't know if I should be buying, you know, this truck I want to get. But then suddenly you see it everywhere, right? Those are signs that, you know, your desires are okay and that you'll be supported in that process, all right? But you also are going to see things like the repetitive numbers, 111s, 222s, and that. Shapes, animals, signs are going to come off, you know, bumper stickers, billboards. If you flick on the radio, a lot of psychics will do that. All right, I'm going to turn on a song. This next song is something I need to know, right? Or it could be more specific, something I need to know about this. You know, what I do, and this is part of my clairaudience, is spirit comes to me in songs. And those songs are just will come out of my head for whatever reason. And I'm like, oh, where did that come from? You know? And when I really start thinking about what the lyrics are, it really gives me a revelation about what I'm either truly feeling or where I need to be heading towards. So yeah, those spirit signs, right? So you'll start to pay attention to all the little subtleties too, including, yeah, the animals in nature, For instance, I had a bee that was at my window today where I had never seen a bee at my second floor window trying to get in, and I was like, oh, what you doing, bee? You got some sweetness in my life you want to bring in? You pay attention to those little things, right? Yeah. And then you'll notice the frequency. Now, the clairvoyance is also going to come to you in dreams and your meditation. Okay. Those are all clairvoyant gifts. So not always seeing it physically, or that you see the spirit world right in front of you, though you will in time start to see and perceive those energies. You'll see the energy of the remote control, or the energy of atoms vibrating, or the cloud energy. You'll start to notice more and more of those subtle energies with your eyes. Okay. The more you practice, practice opening up that third eye. Good. Tapping on it, giving it all that love. Now, when we get to clairaudience, we're hearing sometimes our inner voice, where the guides are coming through. And again, it's that knowing chakra, right? But we're hearing them with the throat. So the clairaudience is really working through our throat chakra. But sometimes you will literally hear an extra voice. So it works both ways. In particular, if there's an emergency, like move, maybe you're standing on the corner. That happened to a friend of mine, and a car came there crashing moments later. So that's the only time, our angels and guides will intervene is in an emergency, where they will assist if it's not your time. Or if something, is about to happen, I'll just say, I'll yell at angels, like, help me out here. And I'll do it over my kids, all of it. So I'll be giving you, for next class, an additional attunement. That's for Archangel Michael. And it's this beautiful symbol with like a pyramid around you. And you envision that around, all your loved ones, home, car, everything. So that the highest situation can occur for the greatest good. So we're not messing with any destiny or fate, and all these things. But we do have different windows, portals, doorways, roads at times. We know we have our journey and our destiny, let's say, but then how it plays out is up to us. And so there's many roads we can take to get to that journey. Okay. And they're all designed to help us as they should. There's no wrong way. So if you're someone that likes to learn things the hard way, and you keep repeating those patterns, that's just going to take you a little longer, right? But yeah, you start paying attention to your clairaudience and clairvoyance and those signs coming in. Over time, you'll start to recognize the sounds of your guides, okay? And so if a thought were to come in my head, if I'm channeling for someone, maybe I'm giving a reading, a healing, teaching, but also as I'm giving Reiki, if it's just a random thought, right, that I wouldn't even normally have, or it came from out of the blue, then I almost always know that it's for them and it's from a guide. And it could be super simple. It could be a picture of someone. It could be a name. It could be like a picture of a water bottle or a waterfall to remind you to tell them to drink their water. So the symbols are going to come to you in ways you can understand, right? And your guides are going to work differently through you than someone else's guides would work through them. Okay. And we call on them and ask for their assistance. But they're going to come from that place of pure love. And that's how you'll know it's not something, dark or whatever. And when we work with that love energy, that's what pervades. Okay. Even when you feel scared, send it love. They hate that. So just, yeah, keep the love flowing. And that's really what it's all about in the system, and it's us bringing more love into the planet. hmm but also, if it's to make sure it's not your ego. So let's say it's a friend that you're doing a session for, and you already know all their issues, right? I would make sure when you approach the situation to again clear the mind. So paying attention to your intention. And I try and literally just empty the mind of any preconceived thoughts, and then just be open to the energy. And the energy has an intelligence all its own that will then guide you to even where you need to go on the body. Good. So also clear audience is hearing messages through others, like me speaking to you. Again, the radio bells. How I heard the ringing. That's a really big one with me, that ringing. Um, there's, different people will say, oh, the right ear means this, left means that. I don't know. I feel like everything changes constantly. The only thing that is constant is love and people and relationships in the world. I mean, even when it comes to like your coaching, your business, right? Everything's always evolving, right? The only thing that we know that's always constant is that, people want connection. So this is a really great way to do that, even if it's long distance. But if you do have the opportunity, to lay your hands gently on someone and feel that connection of their being and that merging of your being with theirs, it's very beautiful, very beautiful. And you can even start with your pets, right? Yeah, when we get to practicing. Clairsentience then is when you're feeling the chicken skin, the truth bumps. You'll feel it physically in your being. And this is something that'll be heightened when you are channeling Reiki. You'll begin to feel and perceive the energy more and more. And so not only are you going to feel the energy pouring into them, let's say you were on their second belly chakra, what you'll feel then is the energy come through you, and it'll be like this wave, and then you'll see their body do the same wave of energy as something deeply pours in, clears them out, and releases out the root. And you'll feel it also go out your root. So you're literally just holding that vibration and energy pattern, that particular hurt, so to speak, that that person needed in that area at that place and time. It's really cool. And yeah, and then we'll talk more about how to do it and how to call on it and everything else. But that's when you're going to feel sensations and emotions. So you might even feel that, oh, they got to pee, or, like you'll feel, if you're hungry, yeah, you'll feel all sorts of things. But you know how you can feel when a loved one is hurting, or when someone's going to call, right? That's your clear cognizance now, that inner knowing. And that's when you just can't ignore the gut feeling that I need to do this, right? Or I need to listen to this. That's your clear cognizance. It's what, animals have naturally. That's funny. I was telling my yoga student yesterday. I was like, yeah, my cat was eating a weird flower. I hope it was okay. She's like, well, you would think they would know. I go, yeah, animals seem to know. I'm like, so why are people so stupid? Like, why don't we have that inner knowing? We're supposed to be so intelligent, but what we have forgotten is that innate knowing.
We've consciously disconnected.
Yeah, we did. I know. It's really crazy. And so, yeah, I feel like we, and again, we're going to wake up all these different parts of our brain too. And so when we're waking up, let's say, oh, I just lost a crystal. That crystal didn't want to be there. When we're waking up, the parts of the brain that are more sensitive, intuitive, feminine, right? Are or even the parts of our root that are more masculine, right? We're going to feel these energetic shifts in our being. And we're going to start noticing then how people around us are also mirroring that, especially kids. And you know how you set the tone for your whole home generally, or when you arrive at work, in a bad mood, that's going to set the whole mood. Whereas if you, arrive in a great mood and work's in a stinky mood, but you hold your vibe, right? You do that protection, you hold your vibe. But when you feel like you want to feel someone a little bit and use your feelers and intuit what someone needs, yeah, that's when you're going to almost loosen your mummy gauze, so to speak, and decide to perceive a little more at that space and time. But you'll then be able to just assess someone's energy very easily when that clear cognizance also kicks in. So we usually have a strong dominant sense we're born with, maybe two, and then over time, and definitely through this Reiki process, you're going to find that you'll merge a lot of the senses and have more than one gift. Okay. So the other one is the clear being. That's your holistic sense of just to know that you are one with everything. This might be a feeling you have, for instance. I give this example where I would like go over a bridge and you'd see dolphins swimming, right? Or something just so beautiful that you just know that you are one with everything. And that's the feeling you also get when you're giving a Reiki session, is that inner knowing. It's very lovely. And that's why we also, when we harm others, we're only harming ourselves as well. Yeah. So with that in mind, let's do a quick quiz. Now, even if you've done this quiz before, let's do it again. So on a blank piece of paper, if you have one, you're going to do first number 1 through 5. And we're going to see how many yeses you get in this category. So first question. Are you generally aware of other people's feelings? Number 2, do you often know what other people will say before they say it? Number 3, do you get butterflies in your stomach when you are near someone? It's supposed to be a bad thing, by the way, and not necessarily a love thing. Number 4, do you get the same butterfly feeling in a location? And number 5, do you hear people's thoughts? Sometimes I'll hear thoughts and I'll be like, did you just say that? Like, like you're not even sure. Okay, next section, 1 through 4. Number 4 was, do you get the same butterfly feeling in a location? So 3 was butterflies in your stomach when you're near someone. 4 was when you're in a location. And then 5, when you hear people's thoughts. All right, the next section, number 1 through 4. And this will all be in a handout I'm going to post, okay? So you don't have to write down all the detail. But yeah, for your knowledge for now. Number 1 on this next section, do you ever get a sense that you're part of the universe? Number 2, do you really know that the world could be a place of peace and love? Number 3, do you get a sense of wonder and love just by being alive? Number 4, do you look into the eyes of someone who's hurting you and see their pain? Oof, that's a good one, huh? All right, let's move down a section, number 1 through 6. Number 1, have you walked into a place and felt a shiver or a sense like there was a presence? Number 2, have you ever had an encounter with a spirit of any kind? Number 3, have you woken up to feel a weight on you when nothing physical was there? Number 4, do you have vivid dreams that you feel may have really happened? Like they were just so real. Number 5, at night, do you close your eyes and sometimes see faces or even things that are face-like a creature? No, multidimensional being. Like it's no big deal, just a multidimensional being. Number 6, have you felt your body has been on a journey without you moving, especially when you wake up, right? Like, "Ah, did I even sleep last night?" Yeah. All right, one more section. This is number 1 through 5. Number 1, while walking outdoors, have you sensed something watching you outside? Number 2, out in open country, have you felt something didn't want you there? Especially some wild space, or if you're camping in the wild, right? Number 3, have you been out in a wild space and felt that the place protected you? So the opposite. And number 4, when you walk into a place for the first time, can you sense the atmosphere? And you literally can cut it with a knife. That phrase, that's a bit what it feels like when you're walking into a dense, heavier space. And then again, you might feel something glorious. That's good too. Number 5, are there people that you do not like to be physically near? You might feel it in your being as a no, as a big no. Okay, so you count it up and notice where your most yeses were, and I'll just tell you then these categories. And again, you might have more than one, but you might have one that's quite dominant. And then you might have areas that you want to, develop that gift. So the first section was our empath section. And that's your ability to literally feel for someone else, that empathetic ability, right? But that's going to give you the ability to read someone's aura if you have that gift pretty accurately. For me, I might even flip cards with it just to confirm what I'm feeling, or I feel the cards as I've asked them to be for the person, right? You can also sense their emotional needs, and people will be drawn to you like magnets and want to tell you all their problems. And you want to hold space, right? I usually just let people stream it out and send them a little love and hold space. We're not there to fix everybody's issues, right? And a lot of times they don't even want that. They just want to express. Hmm. But again, you find your boundaries too. So the second section then is our channelers. So channelers then access information that's of a higher level. In other words, it's like, probably fifth, seventh, even ninth dimensional energy that might come through from a greater consciousness. And so they're usually channeling for a collective of people. So someone can channel for you in a one-on-one. They might be viewed as an old soul. And no one is no better or less than the other, all right? We all have these different gifts. And so maybe your gift is the next section, which is a medium, and that means that you connect to dead people, where a channeler wouldn't be able to do that, see? And so, gosh, it's all about, what you came into this lifetime with and your agreements. And so some of us are like reincarnated angels or from other planets. And we have just these totally different vibrations, right? Or some people are more like shadow workers and they help you like dig up your shadows and darkness, Um, and again, that's, as long as it's in a helpful way, right? That's their gifts. People say that, your soulmates, twins and whatnot that trigger you, right? And trigger your shadows. So a lot of times we are, have agreements with other people that trigger us to do better. Yeah, that's the thing. But it's okay to recognize those connections and move on too, right? So yeah, the medium section then, this third category, usually you've seen a ghost at some point in your life or felt it. Um, it could even be that they try and reveal themselves with like a noise across the room, lights flickering. Um, yeah, they tend to like electronics, like refrigerators and the washers and dryers. But that's why they play with the lights and stuff too, is because they're trying to gain energy to manifest or maybe come through or maybe give a message. It's like they have something to say. And usually if they have something to say, there's some unfinished business or they don't know to move on. And if you are a light worker and if they are drawn to your light, like most things are when you are a light worker, yeah, you figure out when you have a little bit of an attachment and you move it to the light. And, just letting everything know that, it's okay in the light, everything's good. And we're going to get even deeper into that in some of our last modules, okay? Because it's heavy. You'll feel more comfortable in your expertise at that point, right? And so to do anything with the spirit realm, you do want to feel, confident, safe, secure, and inviting in the right energies. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes, mediums have their spirit teams that are also their big guides. And then they're the ones that are telling them in their ear all the information then for people they're channeling for, right? They're giving those mediumship energies for. Like, oh, I'm sensing this energy of, maybe you feel it on the right side, and it's like your paternal father's side of the family. Or on the left side, it could be more maternal mother's side of the family. Okay, so there's some of that. If you were to look at somebody's energy, that might be something you're also seeing and perceiving around their head, or a flash of a face or eyes, or, a knowing, right? Yeah, so, energy is, again, it's blips in the radar. So it's not always going to be this full form of, your guide person or a being. It might be, flashes of light, right? Yeah. To let you know, ooh, something's there. We had one class I was recording like this, and this big orb just went right in front of us, And of course, I was calling specifically on our beings and whatnot at that time. So yeah, it's very fascinating what comes through. And then the last category is shaman. Now, shaman tend to be, Reiki healers tend to have shamanistic tendencies, especially if you're into herbs and crystals and healing, right? On those deeper, earthy levels, those planetary levels. Yeah. But you also have this intrinsic nature and connection to plants, animals. So for me, they'll tell me their names. Not always, but a lot of times I'll walk by something and the name will pop into my head. And I'll know what it might be good for, even. Or whether or not I can eat it, because I like to eat everything. So I got in the wild and I taste a lot of things. But yeah, you'll also just be such a strong healer too, because yeah, you're connected to all that is, right? And all that deep Gaia connection. And a lot of times what we're healing, right, is our physical beings and our chakra system that is in our physical container. So I hope that helps you a little bit, discover a little bit more about yourself. And I'll be probably by next week dropping this bigger chakra handout, which is just like the intuitive quizzes and different things around how you can then guide a course. That's a good chakra course. Okay. All right. We're going to get into clearing our energy. So what we'll do is I'm going to guide you on an energy clearing. And then when we've gotten to this beautiful place in our energy, I'm going to burn each of you a bay leaf and say your name out loud. And we're going to ask that if there's any energy that needs to go away even further, that it completely clear and burn off. Okay, I'll say something like that. Okay. So bay leaves are really great for cleansing your energy. This is a basic ritual. I'll drop this ritual also in its entirety in the group. And I like it for, I feel a little off, or I really should disconnect from this person, or, and so that's a lot of what we're going to be doing on this guided journey today, is removing cords from others so that your energy is your own. The only healthy cords would be, our children or pets, right, that need us. Okay. And that would be, around the root section, right? But you'll find that any other cords are cords of fear. And we don't want any fear up in here, is what I heard. The guides are being funny. We don't want any fear up in here. Because fear, of course, is a lower vibration, right? All of those thoughts and emotions that bring us into that lower vibration, then our own being and our organs then will start to mimic that vibration. And so we release the fears, we have faith. And I see cords also like roots. So when I mentioned removing them, you're going to not just remove them by slicing or cutting something off, but really exhale it out or see it in your mind's eye coming out. Okay. All right, let's get in our meditative state. Good. Closing your eyes, coming to your breath. And centering yourself in your breath. Inhaling belly to heart. Really filling up the body with the breath in all of your spaces, including the front and back of the body, the sides of the body. Noticing the spaces in your being where the breath doesn't want to quite go through. Maybe it's a little tight or tense. And just ask your guides, your higher self, to assist in allowing this breath and this clearing to be at the highest frequency for you. Allowing your breath now to be a little longer in count, matching your inhale and your exhale. Beautiful. And now grounding, picturing your grounding cords again, coming out your tailbone, your root chakra, base of spine. See, feel, and know those cords go all the way down the legs, going past now the crust of the earth, anchoring your stream of energy down into Gaia's crystalline core. Just wrap it around there. Breathing that Gaia energy up. Let it first come into the soul star chakra just below the feet, really filtering in this beautiful connection to you and Gaia, this abundant, secure connection. Good. On the count of 3, let it enter the feet, the legs. Here we go. 1, know it's there. 2, allow it to happen. 3, feeling that Gaia energy come up the legs, pulling up the calves, the knees, the thighs, the genitals, the buttocks, and the whole pelvis. Good. Now exhale out what you don't need in that pelvic bowl, especially that root chakra gonad area. Just see, feel, and know you're releasing down and out the legs now what you don't need. Good. And again, inhale that Gaia energy up. Let it concentrate here. Exhale, release what you don't need. You might see this as a color. It might be deep in red, the brightest, purest red. Exhaling out until it's just as red. And it might take a few rounds of breathing. You might have a little darkness, murkiness, stagnation in this chakra. Just think cleanse, clear, allowing your mind and the color of the breath to really infuse this chakra. Beautiful. And if there's any cords here that are unhealthy, we're going to ask our spirit guides to assist. And also using our own intuition and knowledge and abilities to release those cords down into Gaia. She'll recycle the energy. Ready? 1, take a deep breath. 2, even contract a little here. 3, let it go. 2 more rounds in the root. 1, 2, 3, let it go. Good. And again. Releasing with love and light. Asking any energy from others that is not part of you and doesn't belong be sent back to the owners with love and light. Beautiful. Good. Ooh, that feels good. All right, coming up a little higher. Breathing that energy from that root Gaia energy up into our pelvis now, a little bit into low back, below the belly button, filling up the intestines, the womb space. Inhale the front and back now, this beautiful orange. Exhale out the front and back, whatever you don't need. First, we're going to infuse it with a color. Allowing the exhale be whatever color just flows. So it might not be so orange at first. I'm thinking to yourself, cleanse, clear. Beautiful until your exhale is just as orange. It's a little charged up and happy now. That orange is very happy. It's joy. Good. And now on the count of 3, if there's any cords here that don't belong to us, we're going to send them back with love and light. Ready? 1, even contract here a little. 2, allow this to occur. 3, send it back out the front and back. Couple more rounds there. Contract and release. Sending the energy, even if you're not doing it on the physical, do it in your mind's eye or just seeing that energy releasing. Asking your guides to assist, maybe going a little deeper into that chakra now. Any sexual cords, letting them go. Anytime someone wanted to have sex with you, or just send that energy your way, really let that go. It was unwanted. Good, good, good. Now I want you to go back to the root a moment. And just as if your own energy was like a fishing line, I want you to reel your energy in there at the root. And this is going to be any cords you might have sent others. So reel in any cords you might have sent others. Maybe, you had fears around them or a situation and you were lashing onto them literally. Good. Now do that again in the belly, front and back. Reel it in. Ooh, that feels good. Good, good, good. All right, coming to solar plexus at our diaphragm, mid back. Inhaling now, beautiful yellow. Exhale, cleanse, clear. Cleansing this chakra with our beautiful bright golden yellow light. Exhale out what we don't need here, even if we don't know what it is, but anything around our power, any power sent at us, or we just overused our power. There's any cords here from others, we're going to let those go. This happens a lot in this area already. 1, take a deep breath. 2, allow it to happen. 3, let it go. We exhale it out as if it were silly string, as if it were roots, like a piece of grass, however you want to perceive this. Good. A couple more rounds. Really bring it in. 2, let it go. Take cleanse, clear, send it back with love and light. You can even imagine those cords are being wrapped with pink loving. All right, bring your cords in here. Reel it in. Coming to your heart space. Your big, juicy heart space. Breathing in that beautiful green energy into the front and back of your being. Let it really fill this region. Let it penetrate deeply. Exhale anything deep that you need to let go out the front and back. Good. Continue with your green breathing until your exhale's just as green. Good. Also into the shoulder blades. Really opening up there. Cleansing, clearing. All right, asking your guides to assist in removing any cords here from others. 1, see it. 2, allow it to happen. 3, no, let it go. Whew. And again. 1, 2, and 3, let it go. Really breathe it out. Wrap it with love. Send it back to the owners. Even if you don't know who it is, let it go. A few more rounds. Do it to as many people as you need today that you can recall, even out the back of heart. Or just simply ask Spirit to take care of it and just sense and see that you're releasing any cords. That's much better. All right, reel your heart energy in, front and back. Whenever you get dizzy at any point, think of your feet, ground. Good. Good job. Coming up to your throat. Also see, feeling, knowing that you're concentrating on the energy from your hands and arms into the throat, inhaling that beautiful blue that's coming into the front and back of the neck. To me, it's like a peaceful sea, one of the prettiest blues you can imagine. Good. And as you exhale, you might even feel like you want to drop the jaw, open up the throat, let things out like a stream. Good. Even moving the jaw, expanding the back of throat, inhaling. You might even find you need to relax here in the throat. Maybe you tense and tighten up. And there's so many instances where we've tightened up our throat and held our truth and swallowed our words, or felt persecuted for speaking our truth, right? So we really want to clear here. Exhaling, releasing, really asking that our guides assist in clearing our little smoothie Vishuddha chakra. Really drop the jaw now, opening up that throat, allowing things to release at the deepest level. Good. And now sending any cords here back to their owners with love and light. Anybody trying to control your truth and how you spoke about it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, let it go. Even if it's a long stream of energy, even if it's fast and quick, have your intention be to let it go. A few more rounds. Good. Out the back of that neck too. Beautiful. And reeling in your cords here. Just reel it in. Really healing and harmonizing this chakra now. Beautiful. Coming up to third eye. Breathing in that beautiful royal purple here. To the front and back, really piercing, penetrating your entire brain with that purple. Exhale, release what you don't need. Good. A few more rounds of that beautiful purple breathing. Woo. Good. Feeling things even releasing here all the way in our lower chakras, all the way up to this third eye. So anything that might have been affecting you regarding your beliefs, your self-worth, about your abilities, let that go. Cleansing, clearing. Lovely. Now removing those cords here. Any cords around your abilities, including your creativity. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Any cords from others, let them go. Any gaslighting, right? Let that go. Yes, I did see that for what it was. Anytime you had blinders on, let it go. Send it back with love and light. Easy stream. Good, good, good. And reeling in your energy here. Anything you might have sent others, really trying to get them to see your way. Just let that go. Bring it in. Now we're going to breathe up all these beautiful chakra colors up our spine, up our Sushumna. So begin breathing up now. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Exhale out the crown, a fountain of rainbow light. Beautiful. And again, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Exhale out. Infusing that crown chakra now. And as you keep doing that breath and you exhale out your crown, think cleansing and clearing. Cleansing all the way from the root, all the way up to the crown. Allowing this chakra to really open and fountain and receive all that divine abundance. Letting that divine abundance also be able to cascade around you. It comes back into that root chakra and you breathe it right back up. Very pure now. Beautiful. Any cords here in this crown are going to be around your spirituality. So really working on this lifetime today. So if there's any cords around what you believe spiritually or someone trying to get you to do their beliefs, we're going to let that go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Even shoot it with a root lock, like shoot it out. Apply the root. That gets it out the crown more. Good. Drop the root. And again, 1, 2, 3. Now apply it and shoot it out. One more round. Good, and letting it go. Whew, good job. Reeling your energy in that crown. Your energy is certainly your own now. Good. Staying in this meditative state as you're feeling your oneness with the earth, the heavens, your being, and all that is. And I'm clearing now all of the energy for Elizabeth. Down to your cells, asking your guides to assist now your higher self to removing anything else that's stopping you from being your highest rainbow vibration today. Good, and now clearing and burning the energy off for Brianna. Woo, big burn here, let it go, let it go. Anything you need to get rid of that doesn't serve you, letting it go now. Good, good, beautiful. I like to look at the symbols that come up. All right, and now Rhonda, let's burn away some energy for you. Asking your higher self and guides to assist. Good. Anything that doesn't serve you, including thoughts and emotions, let it go. Oh, good job. Very good. All right, and now burning away the energy for Peter. Any negative energy around you, Peter, is being completely burnt away. A little more. Burning away any negativity. It's being a little stubborn. Amen. Amen. Good. And now burning away any negative energy around Carrie. Let it go. Allow source, your guides, and higher self to assist. Woo! Boom. Easy breezy. Very good. All right. And now Janelle. Good. Any negative energy around you, especially in the spirit world, emotions you carry for others, let that go. Very good. Awesome. All right. Jamie. Burning away any negative energy around you now. Guided by spirit and your higher self. Let it go. Amen. Amen. Good. And now for Kalua. Burning away any negative energy around you for the highest good. May only healing light flow. Woo, good and quick, that one. Excellent. Rub your hands together. Waking up both sides of the brain. Tap on your thighs a little bit, coming back to your being. Tap on your heart, your brain. Good. And we'll end there today with that ceremony. And next class, we'll get even deeper into seeing, feeling, and perceiving the energy, especially after I've attuned you to the Reiki 1, and then you'll feel it even more. Okay? Yay! I'm gonna stop our recording. Let me know if you have any thoughts